Feeling lost, a little down, searching for peace in Lexington town. At the missing elements, wisdom you'll find for your body, your spirit, your heart, and your mind. Crystals gleaming, incense sweet, answers waiting, can't be beat. Find the missing elements to make your life better. The missing elements right here in Lexington, KY.
Sorry, guys, if y'all are still out there.
Yeah, you're on now.
Okay.
Oh, there's the pretty little boy.
Okay, guys. Can y'all hear me now? Please, somebody out there. Please, please, please. Somebody out there. Please tell me if you can hear me. Well, I'm assuming that I am now being heard. I hope I'm being heard. If not, we're going to play Silent Movie tonight. So, now, back to the beginning. Coming up, July 18th and 19th is the Central Kentucky Mystical Market. That is at 1165 Center Parkway, Suite 260. Both days are 11 to 5. This month, they are offering outdoor vending. So, you get to shop, you get your cards read, you get healing outside. I will be there, Spirit Mechanics will be there, Rocky Hounds will be there. Off the top of my head, I don't know who all is going to be there. But it is a fun time. Coming up, August 8th is Mystic Nights, a night of magic. And that is going to be August 8th at 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that's going to be at 425 Victor Steer Drive in Milford, Ohio, 45150. Yes, it's in Ohio. No, I will not be there, even though I did actually apply for a vendor's spot. I did that one by accident. I thought I was signing up for another one coming up. Then, the girls that are putting this together do awesome jobs. I'm thinking it is Ascending Shadows as well as Triple Goddess Gifts have gone together. They go together during the summer and put together events. A couple of years ago, they had events at a winery. That was totally awesome. We all had fun there. We all got to drink wine. We all got to drink wine slushies. But the girls actually get together and they actually put on a kick-ass show. Coming up, September 19th and 20th is the Sacred Journey Market. And this one is the Dark Market. And this is going to be held at the Holiday Inn and Suites at 4501 East Gate Boulevard in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yes, we're going back to Cincinnati. Yes, I do plan on being there. Yes, the mechanics will plan on being there. Plinky's Magical Creations should be there. So you get to come get boxes. Rocky Hound should be there with her rocks. The Dark Market should be one hell of an event. Because it always is. We always have fun there. Vendors as well as the clients or the guests who show up. October. The biggest party in the city of Lexington. And that is Scarefest Weekend. And it's going to be held on October 23rd through the 25th at the Central Bank Center in Lexington. I know they have guests like Matthew Lillard from Scream and Scooby-Doo, Roger L. Jackson from Ghostface, and Skeet Ulrich from Scream, and Jasmine Brown. You can get their complete lineup as well as their vendors at scarefestweekend.com. Also, you can buy your tickets there if you don't want to stand in line to buy tickets at the door. But it is one of the biggest parties here in Lexington. But I will not be at Scarefest because I am going to be in Louisville that very same weekend at the Macabre Arts Tattoo and Festival. And that is going to be at 830 Phillips Lane at the Crown Plaza Hotel. As evidently our buttons have gotten mixed up around here because we're now one bump slide ahead. Oops. Because I'm getting ready to go into that one. The Tattoo Festival should be fun. I've heard it's supposed to be fun. I will make it fun if it's not. Now, I just really took a good look at the bump slide for the Macabre Arts Tattoo Festival. I like that. That is totally awesome. I actually like that. Thank you, Mr. Producer. You did good work. December 12th and 13th is the Yule Market here in Lexington. And this is the one that the girls from Sacred Journey Market has put together here in Lexington. And it's going to be held at the Clarion Hotel, 1950 Newtown Pike. December 12th is going to be 11 to 5. The 13th is going to be 11 to 4. I'm pretty sure the mechanics will be there. I am supposed to be there. Rocky Hounds will probably be... Ooh, I wonder. Because don't we have two events back to back? Ooh. Rocky Hounds in Lexington. 2 weekends in a row. We're going to have a party. But yeah, guys. The Yule Market. Come get your last minute Christmas gifts. Come get sound healings. Come get work done. Or you can just come by, say hi, give a high five, a hug, and stop and chit chat. They're always open for that. And I think that is the last of the announcements. Unless, oh no. I do have a couple more announcements. But I think I think my person that was in there telling me that he couldn't hear me, he jumped off. And I really needed him because I forgot to text him today to get his information. And that person, guys, is, you see him in the comments, his name is Hippie Homesteader. He is a vet, and he runs this cleanup. He runs some major cleanups, and it's called Trash Talking. You can find Trash Talking on here on Facebook, or on Facebook. I really forgot to get his contact information because I was really going to do that, but where I started working again, and my job kicked my butt today because, you know, people like to call out and leave people hanging by themselves. That's not cool. But you can find Trash Talking here on Facebook, and that should give the contact information there. It is vet owned and run. And you get him the information, he gets together what he needs, he gets in touch with the people he needs to get in touch with to say, hey, I was told that this place needs to be cleaned up. I'm volunteering my services. Do you mind? And 9 times out of 10, they say, come do it. So, he is an awesome guy. Also, my other announcement, and I don't think I did this announcement last week. $10 from every sound healing that I do till the end of the year is going to be going to a suicide prevention. I went brain dead. A suicide prevention program to help stop suicide. I got to get in contact with some people to find out how to actually do this with the way I want to do it. As soon as I get that together, then I will be posting it. I will probably be starting a GoFundMe page to help raise money. Because that is a very, very important subject to me. Is that all the announcements? Okay. Can I go to sleep now? Okay. So tonight's show, guys, we are going to be discussing something that's basically been hiding in plain sight. And we're going to be deep diving into... Yeah, he came back. Hi, Mike. Do me a favor, Mike, and throw your information up there on how to get in touch with you for trash talking, please. Because I really forgot to text you today and get that information from you so that I could do a bump slide. Because we will be having a bump slide for you. So please throw your information up into the contact or into the chat. Thank you, Mike. So, we are going to take a deep dive into the symbols, the emblems, and the hidden architecture of the United States. Funny thing is we see these symbols every freaking day. We carry some of them in our wallets. We pass by them on the street. Now, which honestly, guys, if you really think about it, these symbols are not only going to be in Washington. They are going to be all over the United States. But the thing is do we really stop to think about what these symbols mean? Because some of the founding fathers were Masons? Were Freemasons. So, these symbols are going to have a spiritual, metaphysical, and an esoteric connections woven into every fabric of what America was founded on. And this could be a way to think about how the United States was actually built. Why do the symbols look the way they do? We have to get into the minds of the founding fathers. I don't want to get in their minds. Do I have to get in their minds? Okay. Because, history classes gave us the sanitized look of stuff. I know when I was in history class, it was, yeah, we had a civil war. The North won. It was over. It was very seldom talked about why we were in a civil war. These men that founded us were we are taught that the guys who founded the country were enlightened. They were driven by logic and reason. Honestly, driven by logic and reason. What was their logic? And what was their reason? Sorry, guys. But they also had a desire for liberty. Because, you know, it all started with the Revolutionary War, where we fought to get out from underneath taxes. But the thing is we are also taught that many of them were deeply devout Christians. But that, the Christian faith heavily influenced their moral compass and their belief in God-given rights and their vision for a nation built on foundational divine principles. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Mike. Love you, brother. My ADHD just kicked in and I totally just squirreled and got lost. But we were talking about God-given rights, right? Okay. But there is a third pillar to the founders' worldview that often gets left out of the standard history books. And that is their heavy involvement in Freemasonry. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, James Monroe, John Hancock, and Paul Revere were all Freemasons. And which, speaking of which, guys, there is a movie I want to go see. It just came out called George Washington. It's supposed to be his story. So I'm going to have to go see it. So at least 9 signers of the Declaration of Independence and 13 signers of the Constitution were known to be Masons. I'm going to ask this question later, but now it's bugging me. So in the 18th century, being a Christian and being a Freemason were not seen as mutually exclusive. In fact, for many of these men, the two philosophies complemented each other perfectly. While their Christian faith provided their moral and theological foundation, Freemasonry provided the universal esoteric framework for understanding the universe. So what we're trying to say is the Freemasonry is the step into the allegory, sacred geometry, and the metaphysical belief that the physical world is a reflection of the divine mind. They refer to God as the great architect of the universe. In which, honestly, I totally agree with. You gotta have the great architect. It's all depending on what you want to call him. You can call him God. You can call him Goddess. It's all the same, guys. At least I think it is. So you actually in order to understand this, you're going to have to believe somewhat believe that concepts like harmony, balance, and divine order can literally be engineered into the physical world through symbols, architecture, and mathematics. And as much as I hated math in school, mathematics plays a major role in everything. So this brings us to the most famous piece of esoteric symbolism in the world, which is probably sitting in your pocket or your purse right now, guys. And we are talking about the $1 bill. Specifically, the Great Seal of the United States printed on the back. When you flip a $1 bill over, you are essentially looking at a masterclass in esoteric and metaphysical symbolism. On the left side, you have the unfinished pyramid. You have the unfinished pyramid with the all-seeing eye hovering above it. If you look at this through a purely historical lens, the pyramid represents strength and duration. And it is unfinished to signify that the work of building the nation is never truly done. When you look at it through the esoteric and Masonic lenses of the founders, it opens up a whole new world of meaning. The pyramid is a deeply spiritual symbol dating back to ancient Egypt, representing the journey to the soul, the journey of the soul from the broad-based material world up toward the single unified point of divine consciousness. It is a symbol of spiritual ascension. The eye hovering above it enclosed in a triangle and radiating light is the eye of providence. To the Christian founders, this represented the all-seeing eye of God, watching over their new nation. But in esoteric traditions, the eye in the triangle is a profound symbol of the third eye, divine illumination, and the great architect overseeing the grand design of the cosmos. I'm assuming you said triangle, but I'm thinking it's supposed to be pyramid. The pyramid itself is a universal symbol of the Trinity. Not just the Christian Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but the metaphysical triad of mind, body, and spirit. Underneath the pyramid, you see the Latin phrase Novus Ordo Secularum, meaning a new order of the ages. The founders truly believed they were ushering in a new epoch of human evolution, a spiritually enlightened era where humanity would break free from the tyranny of the old world. And above the eye, the phrase Anut Coeptus translates to He favors our undertakings. They believed this new esoteric and democratic experiment was divinely ordained. Now, if you look at the other side of the Great Seal, of the right side of the dollar bill, the bald eagle on the surface, the eagle is simply a majestic native bird representing freedom. But esoterically, the eagle is the phoenix. In ancient alchemy and metaphysical traditions, the phoenix is the ultimate symbol of death and rebirth. Burning to ashes to be born anew. America was the phoenix rising from the ashes of European monarchy. Guys, I mean, it's true. So if you look closely at the eagle, you will notice a recurring theme that is incredibly important in esoteric circles. The number 13. There are 13 leaves on the olive branch. in the eagle's right talon, representing a desire for peace. There are 13 arrows in the left talon, representing the readiness for war. There are 13 stripes on the shield. And above the eagle's head there is a glowing cloud containing 13 stars. At which I was getting ready to ask this question, but I'm getting ready to answer it. So, we were taught in school that the number 13 simply represents the 13 original colonies. While that is the practical explanation in the realm of sacred numerology, 13 is a powerhouse number. In Christianity, you have Jesus and the 12 disciples, making a transformative group of 13. In esoteric traditions, 13 is the number of transformations. Transformation, death, and rebirth. It is the movement past the completed cycle of 12, like the 12 months of the year or the 12 signs of the zodiac, into a completely new reality. And if you trace the outline of those 13 stars above the eagle's head, you will see that they are deliberately arranged in a shape of a hexagram. Now you got me looking. I can see that. Also known as a Star of David or the Seal of Solomon. The hexagram is composed of two interlocking triangles, one pointing up and one pointing down. In metaphysical alchemy, this symbolizes the union of opposites as above, so below. The merging of the spiritual realm and the physical realm. It also represents the masculine and the feminine, heaven and earth. The founders encoded the ultimate symbol of the universal balance right above the head of our national bird. I mean, honest, I'm learning stuff here that I really didn't know. So now we're talking about money, guys. It's worth lingering on the concept of money itself. The cash and coins we use daily carry the phrase, "In God we trust." This phrase was added to coins during the Civil War era and to paper money in the 1950s. While it serves as a public declaration of faith, from a metaphysical standpoint, it transforms currency into a fascinating object. Money is, at its core, a physical manifestation of energy. It represents stored labor, potential action, and the exchange of human intention. By stamping the name of the divine onto the currency, there is an esoteric implication that the exchange of energy in society is fundamentally tied to a higher spiritual power. It binds the material pursuit of commerce to the spiritual pursuit of faith, creating a talisman that we hand back and forth to each other millions of times a day. So now we're going to get out of the wallet and onto the streets of the nation's capital. If you want to see the ultimate physical manifestation of the founders' metaphysical minds, you have to look at the layout of Washington, D.C. When George Washington commissioned the design of the new Capitol, he hired a French-American military engineer named Pierre-Charles L'Enfant. along with the surveyor Andrew Ellicott and the brilliant African American astronomer Benjamin Banneker. L'Enfant's vision for the city was unlike anything in the world at the time. It was not just a functional grid of streets, it was a massive, deliberate piece of sacred geometry. In Masonic tradition, it is believed that the layout of the physical space can harness and direct energetic forces. Washington, D.C. was laid out using profound astrological and geometric alignments. So if you look at a map of the city, the Capitol building is placed at the exact center, the heart of the city's grid. Radiating out from the Capitol and the White House are wide diagonal avenues that intersect with a standard grid system. Many researchers and historians of the esoteric have pointed out that these diagonal avenues form distinct Masonic symbols. For instance, if you trace the lines connecting the White House, the Capitol, and the Jefferson Memorial, and the Lincoln Memorial, you start to see geometric shapes emerging. The most famous of these is the apparent Masonic square and compass found in the street layout, extending from the Capitol to the White House and up to DuPont and Logan circles. The compass and the square are the primary tools of the architect, and in Freemasonry, they symbolize the balance between the spiritual and the physical. The compass draws the circle representing the infinite, the divine, and the spirit. The square draws the straight line and the right angle representing the physical earth. Morality and fairness. So by allegedly embedding this symbol into the very streets of the Capitol, the architects were symbolically dedicating the city and therefore the nation to the pursuit of divine order on earth. There is also the presence of the pentagram in the street alignments north of the White House. While pop culture has unfortunately associated the pentagram with dark magic or Hollywood horror, and classical esoteric and Masonic thought, the five-pointed star is a sacred symbol of the golden ratio. Human perfection and the five elements of spirit, air, fire, water, and earth. It is a symbol of protection and balance, guys. So the spiritual connections in DC go far beyond just the streets. Let us look at the architecture itself, which is heavily inspired by classical Greek, Roman, and Egyptian antiquity. This was not just an aesthetic choice because it looked grand, it was a metaphysical choice. Take the Washington Monument. It is a massive, unadorned Egyptian obelisk placed precisely on the National Mall. In ancient Egyptian spiritual tradition, I think we just found our mistake. Sorry, guys. In In ancient Egyptian spiritual tradition, the obelisk represents a solidified ray of the sun god Ra. It is an axis mundi, a pillar connecting the earth to the heavens. It is a strictly masculine symbol of power, light, and generative energy. Sorry guys, gotta get something to drink. So now we get to look down the mall at the Capitol building with its massive sweeping circular dome. In classical esoteric architecture, the dome represents the cosmic womb. It is the ultimate feminine center symbol of receptivity, gathering, and the vault of heaven. When you stand on the National Mall, you're standing between sorry guys, I'm scrolling again. I'm actually looking at the picture. You are actually standing between the obelisk and the dome. You're standing in a massive engineered space that balances the masculine and the feminine energies of the universe. The founders and the subsequent architects were physically manifesting the Hermetic principle of polarity. They were creating an energetic circuit between the reflective, receptive space of lawmakers in the Capitol and the active, outward projecting power of the Founding Father memorialized in the obelisk. So now if you walk inside that magnificent dome of the Capitol and look straight up, you'll see one of the most overtly esoteric paintings in American history. Painted by Costantino Vermiti in 1865. The massive fresco suspended in the eye of the dome is called the Apotheosis of Washington. The Apotheosis of Washington. Oh, excuse me, guys. The word apotheosis literally means elevation of someone to divine status, or the making of a god making of a god. In this painting, George Washington is depicted ascending into the heavens, draped in purple royal robes, sitting among the clouds. We didn't get a picture of that. Okay. He is flanked by classical Roman and Greek goddesses representing liberty and victory, as well as an inner circle of 13 maidens, representing the 13 original colonies. Surrounding him on the outer edges are scenes of Roman gods mingling with American inventors and historical figures. You have Vulcan, the god of fire and the forge, working next to a steam engine. You have Mercury, the god of commerce, handing a bag of gold to Robert Morris, the financier of the American Revolution. This fresco is a breathtaking blending of Christian reverence, Masonic ascension, and pagan mythology. It tells the spiritual story of America. It suggests that through intellect, liberty, and adherence to divine principles, humanity can literally ascend to the realm of the gods. It is the ultimate expression of the Enlightenment and Masonic ideal. The belief that mortal men can build a heaven on earth. keeping my mouth shut. The depth of thought that went into these symbols is staggering. The men who designed the United States were not just politicians writing laws. They were philosophers, mystics, and architects of human consciousness. They understood that symbols bypass the logical brain and speak directly to the subconscious mind. A flag, a seal on a dollar bill, or the soaring peak of a monument are not just decorations. They are anchors of intent. They are batteries of collective belief. Whether you personally believe in the metaphysical power of sacred geometry or the esoteric meaning behind the number 13, the undeniable truth is that the people who built this country did. They encoded their highest spiritual aspirations, their Christian faith, and their Masonic philosophies into the very soil and ink of the nation. They wanted to ensure that long after they were gone, the physical environment of the United States would continue to broadcast a frequency of liberty, divine order, and spiritual evolution. So the next time you look at a dollar bill, do not just see it as a piece of paper that buys a cup of coffee. Look at the pyramid. Look at the eye. Look at the hexagram above the eagle. The next time you see footage of Washington, D.C., do not just see political gridlock. See the compass, the square, the obelisk, and the dome. Because you are looking at a massive, intricate tapestry of spiritual and metaphysical ambition. You are looking at an ongoing esoteric experiment. Guys, it's totally awesome, you know? You actually get to see the intentions that our founding fathers have put out there for us. And we just take for granted. So, thank you guys for joining me on this journey into the hidden architecture of America. Take a moment today to look closely at the symbols around you, because there is always a deeper layer waiting to be understood. Keep questioning stuff, guys. Keep trying to understand. Keep looking out. Actually, next weekend, Spirit Mechanics is having the 300 classes. You can find them at spiritmechanics.com. I think they're doing a class on the Fae, sigils, which is the stuff that we just talked about. The symbols and stuff like that. I think Pat's got a class. I'm not sure if it's the vampire class or not that she's teaching. And I think there's one more class, but I'm not 100% sure. So guys, thank you all very much. Check in the comments here on Facebook and get the information for Trash Talk. And let's try to get our Trash Talk in. Sorry. Trash Talking. And let's see if we can start getting this, get this planet a little bit cleaned up. One day at a time, guys. Love you all. And we will see you all next week.